Hey, good morning. Welcome back to Freedom Over 40. So today I'm going to be filming this in the morning before I even start my full-time job for the day. I've got a lot of things going on both during the day and after work. So I thought I'd do this now just to make sure I get my content out there for you. As promised, my 30-day challenge. I'm still on a roll, guys. This is day 7. So 7 days in a row that I'm actually going to be filming content for you regarding all the things that I get up to, my reasons why I'm actually going to be creating an online business, which I've already started, and then basically focusing on quitting my full-time job, and then basically diving into not only my online business, but diving into so many other adventures and projects and things that I've got lined up or that I may have started already. Anyway, so today is all about being realistic and about breaking free from the 9-to-5 realistic exit plan. So this is continuation on from yesterday's video that I did with you. So I'm still working full time, okay, but I know exactly how I'm going to be leaving my job. This is something that I'm realistic by. It's something that I'm doing step by step about the exit plan. And if you're over 40 and you're dreaming of freedom, you can make one too. So why am I leaving my full-time job eventually? I've spent decades in the 9-to-5 routine. I have also worked shift work as well. I used to work in hospitals. I used to work in secure units. I used to work in all sorts of mental health and nursing homes, residential homes. So I've worked shifts, I've worked the 9-to-5. I'm back in the 9-to-5 grind now in an office job again. And while I'm very grateful for the stability of having an of having a full-time job, a 9-to-5 job, the truth is it's exhausting. And like you all know, I'm going through the menopause, and although the menopause will not last around forever, it does last a big chunk of your life span, especially in your working time. So menopause symptoms, for example, that I'm going through make it harder to go through the grind of 9-to-5, the brain fog, the fatigue, the sleepless nights, and in financial stress as well. And it feels like you're constantly running just to stand still, if that makes sense. It's like you're on this hamster wheel. You know, you go to work, you get up, you go to work, you do your 9-to-5, you come home after sitting in traffic, you make tea, you know, you might put some washing on, whatever, and then you go to bed again, you back up again in the morning early, and so on. It's like constant, a cycle, isn't it? That's constant on rinse and repeat, as I call it, like the washing cycle. But the real reason why I decided that I want to quit my job eventually is I want my life back. I want to be in control. I want to be in a better position financially. As much as I'm very grateful for being in a job, I know there's so many people out there that are not even in a job right now. I appreciate the income. However, it doesn't really pay very well in terms of today's standard of living. And I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't take drugs. I very rarely go out, more so because I can't afford to. And I'm someone that's more, I'm an extrovert introvert. And what I mean by that is, yes, in work, I'm a people person, but when I go home, I like to switch off. I actually like to switch off. I know it may not seem like it from doing all the, the content and the TikToks and the Facebook and the Instagram, as well as doing my online business around a full-time job. But yeah, I am a bit of an introvert. I like to switch off, and I like my downtime. I like my peace and quiet. I like to be able to relax in the garden, sit in the garden with a cup of tea. I am a massive teapot. I love drinking my tea, typical British thing. But yeah, that's how I unwind. That's how I relax. And yeah, as I say, I want my life back. I want to wake up without rushing. I want to be able to work from anywhere I want. So if I decide to go on holiday, and I made sure in advance they got Wi-Fi and a good connection out there, then I can go away wherever, whether that be UK or abroad. And I can still do some work. I can still do some content. I can still work on my business. You know what I mean? I like to have flexibility. I don't want to be tied into a desk job where the current conditions are, it's summertime, but the aircon is on so cold, and I mean extremely freezing cold, that we're all sitting there in our coats, cardigans, one of my team members actually sits there with fingerless gloves on. Because you can hardly feel her fingers. That's how cold it is there. And we've been complaining about the same problem for over 6 months, and it still hasn't been rectified. So, if that's one thing, although I'm grateful, yes, to be cooler in the summer months, don't get me wrong. When you're in extreme cold conditions, it's like sitting in a fridge or a freezer almost. You are absolutely nobbled, and you're tense. You can't relax. You're sitting there for like 8 hours a day and you can't relax, because you're trying to consume any form of body heat that you may feel, that you may have. You're constantly like this because you're trying to stay warm. And that's just a perfect example of why I'm fed up of coming to an office where the conditions aren't brilliant. How many more times have you got to complain about the same thing and actually wait for it to get done? And I'm fed up of false promises. I'm fed up of like people saying, yeah, we'll get it fixed. Well, 6 months later, we're still freezing and it's not good. So we've gone through winter months like this, and now we're in the summer and it's not made any difference. Nothing has changed. And it gets you down. It plays on your head because you just think, oh God, I got to get up for work. So it's bad enough having to get up early to get into a car parking space mega early before you start, like I am doing right now, to then walk into a freezing cold fridge of an office, to sit there for 8 hours, absolutely freezing, to then think, right, well, this is what I got to put up with. They may finally get it resolved, they may not, but how long is a piece of string? Because that's how it feels right now. And I'm not someone who's negative, but when you've constantly been in that for 6 months, come on, do you know what I mean? Like, I am an action taker. I know things cost money, but if you're going to be leasing buildings for staff to work in, the conditions have to be user friendly. Yeah, they have to be of a state where people want to come into work and feel comfortable. It doesn't want to discourage you from actually walking into the office and thinking, oh God, it's cold again. So that's just a pure example of why I'm fed up of working in an office environment. I want to work in my home. I want to do it when I want to do it, when I decide to get up. Not that I'm a lazy bones, I'm generally awake early every day, even if I wasn't at work. When I'm on leave, I still wake up. I think it's your body clock. It's so used to getting up early in the morning, you just naturally wake up. I think it's only when it's darker in the winter months here in the UK that I might actually sleep in a bit longer, but that's because it's dark outside, and I think you naturally think, oh, it's not time to get up yet. But I digress. So the other thing that I've always had a passion for is travel. And I've always traveled. That's the one thing I've lived for. I don't have children. It didn't happen. Never been pregnant before in my life. And so my only focus really, other than paying the bills, is being able to travel somewhere every year as a focus and as kind of like an incentive, really. Like the dangling carrot scenario where you go to work and you think, well, what have I got to show for this? So the one thing that I've always done is booked a holiday to go somewhere. I've done static caravans. I've done little cottages in mid Wales. I've gone abroad multiple times, but that's the only luxury. That's the only thing that I actually do. And the only way I do that is by booking it like a year in advance and then making monthly payments so I can actually afford to pay it off in time. That's the only way round I've been able to book something. And so when I've not had enough money to be able to book like a holiday abroad, like I say, I've done a static caravan holiday or I've done a cottage holiday, but I need to do something. I need to change the scenery and then I needed to get away. And that's how I cope with my mental health and the fact that I'm having to do the 9 to 5 grind, right? Or when I was working shifts, even when I was working in hospitals or residential homes or whatever. So that's what I've been doing to keep myself motivated up until now. Since then, I've now decided to take action and basically, for once and for all, get out of this rut, get out of this hamster wheel of, the 9 to 5 grind, being skint, getting a salary, but only barely touching the bills, having nothing much left over at the end of the month. So, you can't really go anywhere. You can't really do anything. You can't really afford to buy clothing because you don't really have it. I don't have credit cards anymore. I don't have an overdraft anymore. I still have a bit of debt left over from COVID and from when I got divorced. So I'm trying to pay all that off as well, So I chose to put my energy into things that matter. Okay. And I think that's so important. I think when you give your energy to things that are important to you, whether that's a hobby, whether that's your religion, if you have a religion, if you believe in a religion, or for example, for me, it's about travel. I decided then to start an online business in travel because for me, it's a win-win. Not only do I earn money from booking holidays for people like friends, family, and people that I may not know that have been recommended to me, I get to book my own holiday as well. Happy days. So I'm in control as well with over 95 partners, for example, that I can book with, and they're all very, very well known people. And I like the fact there's so much variety that I can choose from. So that's why I decided to do travel. And with this business, I plan to scale it, to grow it, to build a team. So if anyone is watching and you're looking for an online business and you love travel, then hey presto, guys, this is your moment. Get in touch, comment travel, and I will be in touch with you to discuss it with you more. Quitting without a plan is risky, and basically I refuse to jump off without a safety net. So my non-negotiables before I hand in my notice are saving a 3 to 6 months essential living costs. So that's all your outgoing bills, everything that you normally would pay on a monthly basis out of your salary. I need to save enough money put aside so that I can then walk away after having about 6 months money put aside. And I want to pay off my debts as well before I quit my 9 to 5. Building my side income that covers part of my monthly bills. So technically my side income will be whatever earnings I earn from that will help me to start saving for that 3 to 6 months, because at the moment my current salary doesn't give me much spare money to save and put away because it's already gone on bills. Reducing any unnecessary expenses. So not that I have many subscriptions, but if you, for example, have got loads of subscriptions and you don't really use them enough to justify paying a monthly fee, then I would suggest cancelling them if you can. If you would check the contracts with the people that you're with, if you can get out of it, please do, because you're just wasting money. I think you should just put it into something that you actually will make use of. And that's how I look at things with money, because money, it's not everything, but it's important. And if you're looking to get out of a rut like me, that's what I would start, definitely. I'd start looking at saving money and putting it in an account or whatever you want to put your money. Save up 6 months worth of monthly income that you would need to be able to pay your bills to survive. And then I would start creating a daily routine that works for you. So for me, my future freedom in life isn't just my current job. My future life and online business will be not just a hobby to me, it will be my actual income. It's how I'm going to be able to travel and literally travel to so many countries that are on my list and have always been on my list, but I've not been able to afford to go to, or for whatever reason, I didn't have enough leave that I could take. That's the other restriction as well. I don't want to be told you're only allowed to have X amount of leave a year. As far as I'm concerned, I'd rather go away as often as I can and work when I'm away so that I can get the best of both worlds, right? Why not? So I also feel that when I am working from home or from a place of my choosing, I'm actually more productive. And that's simply because I have less distractions. I can focus. I focus down on what I need to do, my tasks, and I get them done. And the motivation for me is, well, if I'm at home and I can get them done quicker, then my job is done, so I can relax afterwards, right? So it's like a win-win for me. So equally, if I was to go away on a holiday now and I've got tasks to do and I'm working, I will get them done out the way so that I know I can go off and enjoy the rest of my day. Because as long as I've done my job and I've done what I need to do, it's a win-win. I get to chill out then. I can go to the pool. I can go exploring wherever I'm staying. I can go for a nice meal, whatever, go and see a show. The list is endless. It's just making it work for you. It's about working smarter, not harder. And I'm such a big advocate for that, really. And I think, there's so many things I could go on about where I work that are negative, but I don't want to, because I don't want to bring negative energy into this. That's not what it's about. Okay. And I'm not into a negativity. If I can be positive and if I can change something into a positive, I will. I'm always going to be a glass half full, not a glass half empty person. So here's what I'm doing right now, just to be able to progress further in my plan of action, is I'm growing my travel business while I'm still working full time. I'm creating digital products right now behind the scenes, which I'm going to start introducing. And then I will start selling to generate an extra income. And again, the income from that, then I will then start using to pay off my debt quicker, start saving quicker, and so on. So it's like a snowball effect. Yeah, it's building momentum. So these digital products as well that I'll be selling, they will be able to be sold while I'm not even online. So I could be selling digital products technically once they're set up when I'm in my 9 to 5. I'm not physically online, yet somebody's just logged in, seen a digital product of mine, and has invested in one, which is fantastic. And they're all of benefit, not just to them, but to me as well, because I get to earn something. And once you've created a digital product once, and it's established and it's on your website or whatever you've created, it's done. You don't have to do it again. So I'm not all about duplication. The only one place I duplicate is within the business, and that's the method on how you grow the business. But other than that, everything else is like a one thing, one method system. And that's what I love about digital products, because once you've done it once and you've created it, it's good to go. I like to post consistently. So I utilize TikTok, I utilize Instagram, I utilize my Facebook. I'm on here on YouTube, which I've always loved YouTube. I've been on YouTube for many, many years as somebody who views things, but now I like to create this channel and this community. So I'm consistently posting. Sorry, just waiting for that to go past. Ambulance. And yeah, I like to build an audience here too. I'm really enjoying my YouTube channel. I'm enjoying it more than I thought, if I'm honest. I'm tracking every lead and conversation as well that I get in my prospect tracker. So that's with me building my current travel business. And so that nothing slips through the cracks, so that I'm on my game. I'm trying to be as organized and as professional and, as I possibly can, because I'm trying to do everything in pockets of time. So a big chunk of my day, as you know, is getting up. It's, shower, dressing. I'm not one for breakfast first thing in the morning. I just can't eat early anymore. I used to, but not anymore. I think that's changed since I've started the menopause, basically. My stomach and everything is not how it used to be. So I eat later. Sometimes I won't have breakfast at all. I'll just skip breakfast and have lunch. I enjoy it then more so when I sit down to have my lunch, which is normally around midday. But that's for me. What you do is your choice. Please seek medical advice. I'm just going by my experience and what I can tolerate with my stomach. So just to go back a bit now about, moving on and about having an exit plan. You don't have to quit today. You just have to start. Okay. Every 1 hour or even 1 hour a day, working on your future is better than doing nothing. It's the same analogy like I said yesterday. If you wanted to get your steps in and lose a bit of weight and get out there, then by getting off the sofa, walking out your front door and maybe just walking to the end of your street and back is a start. If you're not someone that's used to walking far, or you might have a lot of excess weight, like I used to have a lot of excess weight from the menopause, and I'm slowly losing the weight now, which is great. I'm finally getting somewhere. I'm starting to move a bit more. I wear a smartwatch, so I'm tracking my steps. And so what you can do is build upon that. So you could start by getting up, wearing a pair of comfortable clothing, comfortable shoes, trainers, whatever. Walk to the end of your street and walk back. Then the following day, walk to the next street and then walk back, and just slowly build it up like that. Again, if you've got mobility issues or if you're overweight and you're struggling with your joints, please seek a medical professional help, healthcare advice. That's just my experience and what I'm doing. But freedom isn't a leap, it's a series of small steps consistently. Okay, you've got to make consistent small steps in the right direction to get to where you need to go. Things can't just always necessarily happen overnight. A lot of people that you see that go viral, for example, they didn't just necessarily go viral by just one video. It's very rare that would happen. What you don't see is all the continuous efforts they've made with other videos prior that just didn't make it or didn't get to as many views and go viral. So that's just like another example to you that, you know, when you're building a life that you want to have, it is about consistency. It is about a step-by-step situation and method and a plan. And if I can do it in my mid-40s and going through the menopause and working full-time, then so can you. So if you found this helpful, hit subscribe so you don't miss out the rest of my journey. And I really appreciate you all for being here. So thank you very, very much indeed. And if you're curious about the travel business that I'm now doing and building, basically the thing I would suggest is to comment travel below, and I will respond to you within the next 48 hours. And I will be able to get you on a Zoom call with me, and we can discuss the opportunity further. Anyway, thank you so much for your time, guys, as ever. I always appreciate your support. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for being here. Stay safe, stay blessed. Have a great day now. Take care.